We are your hosts, Mitch Bone and Tony Legaly. Tony, how you doing, man?
Mitch, I'm great. I'm feeling good. It's a little Wednesday morning here. Fall is upon us. We got the official kickoff yesterday with the NHL opening up, the official start of sports season, my friend. So it is officially all here. The NHL, the NFL, the MLB playoffs, college football. Let's go, baby. We got some things to talk about. It's been a little over a week since we last met, and a lot of things going on in the world, a lot of things going on in sports.
Yes,
Been with it.
for sure. And you were saying it's the beginning of the sports year, but for this like diehard baseball fan, it's the end of the sports year. I am like dreading the World Series because then that means I have to wait until April for my team to play again. Although I'm already waiting for my team.
We can't just have every podcast. I mean, this might as well be a Mariners suck podcast, and we can just vent every week. We can just vent every week about let's rack our brains for the next 16 years and figure this predicament out, don't you think?
I mean, might as well. At this point, yeah.
Hopefully this is the last time we can talk about this unless they make some massive moves, but there's no organization that I'd love to see succeed more than the Seattle organization. So I don't know what they do, but the team that they built clearly based off the eye test and just the game itself, it's not competitive.
Right, but to your point, it is not baseball season anymore. I mean, it kind of is.
I just hope that they can be competitive. It was no disrespect because I got some Mariners in my heart.
Right, but it is MLB playoffs, so we're kind of talking about that because I feel like that's going to be the shortest chunk of our show since there's not many teams to talk about now. Yeah. Let's dive into that a little bit.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, but every game has just been a little bit just great. I mean, guys executing pitches, obviously focused hitters is all to see. And while we're actually doing the episode, looks like the Tigers are leading the Guardians 1-0.
Nice.
So they started there in the top of the second. So
and that's
the Mets itself, the Mets and the Phillies have been great. I mean, the Yankees, Royals. We'll see some drama unfold tonight. Padres, Dodgers. We got a little bit of chippiness going on there in that game, in that series, and so I hope it gets chippier, and I hope we're in for some more exciting baseball between those two teams.
For sure. I love how it panned out, especially in the NL, where there are two division rivals playing each other.
Very much so. Yeah.
Because the Dodgers and Padres hate each other's guts.
Yep.
And that's very well known. And then the Phillies and Mets, it's a little bit more underrated. I wouldn't say there's quite as much bad blood, Dodgers and Padres, but it's a pretty heated series too.
I mean, every one of them is just competitive. I'm just so happy that to me, there's no crazy wild card deal here. I just feel like it worked out. We're just in for a hell of a playoff because of the caliber of teams that we're getting. Obviously, the D-backs went on their run last year. I mean, I don't know about you. The D-backs and Rangers to me are the most entertaining teams to watch, and I'm just happy that there's some big name teams in here this year, and I think it's going to be a super competitive finish. So I don't know who you leaning for.
See, you're one in the big markets. You're one in the New Yorks, the Phillies.
Yeah, it's good.
Those bigger market teams.
Baseball. It's good for baseball.
See, here's my viewpoint. So I don't think it's good for baseball. I would see the Detroits. I would absolutely love if Detroit made it to the World Series because they're a team everybody counted out, myself included.
Yeah.
And I would love it if Detroit made it. And then in the NL, they're all pretty big name or big markets. So the least big market is probably San Diego
Man, I don't know about that. I mean, you got the Royals. Oh, you're talking in the NL.
in the NL.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Well, I mean, come on. The Mets haven't been to the playoffs since you know what I mean? Like, the fact that they're even in there.
No, I agree. If they made it, I'd be happy too. I don't want to see the Dodgers.
Mhm.
And if I'm being honest, I know you're a Yankee fan, but I don't want to see the Yankees.
You know, I really am shocked on the deal. I mean, I just am so used to this team kind of having their ups and ebbs and flows and just kind of petering out. And I mean, here's the thing: is like it's tough to really base any postseason statistics on anyone in the lineup currently because I mean, they make the postseason, I guess, with that first year. But here's the thing: like Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Gleyber Torres, like some of the meat of this New York lineup is hitting 200 in the series right now. You know, below 200, in fact.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's just like I told you this 3 months ago. Like I just feel like the heart and soul of this Yankees team is just not reliable enough to feel like an honest projection of them winning the world title.
Yeah.
I just feel that way. Just
I honestly, if you want to go off that team is willing their way every step of the way.
absolutely, absolutely. They get it's tough to stop a heater in the playoffs. All you got to do is get in, and I mean when it gets down to the nitty gritty, the ALCS and the NLCS and the World Series, little intricacies about your lineup and about your pitching staff really matter because everything's we got 7 games at that point, and it really tests the whole unit of a team, and so I just feel like the team that for me could withhold that sort of test longevity wise, as far as just pure players, is obviously the Dodgers. Just based off who they have. I hope I'm all for the heater though, and I'm truly rooting for the Padres because those guys have been exciting to watch, and that's what the playoffs is. It's whoever is exciting gets hot.
Yeah, I think having the Dodgers play the Padres was probably the worst matchup for them.
Of course, like definitely, definitely, definitely not a ideal first round matchup, if you will. Like, I mean, and these teams were like, I mean, that's a tough division, anyways, with the Giants.
It is,
and yeah, not ideal, but shoot, don't know how that's going to shake out for those Dodgers out there. I just really don't. I think they needed to win that last one for sure. So these are 5-game series, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I think the DS is 5 games, and then the NLCS, and then obviously the World Series is 7.
Do you think the Phillies get eliminated at home tonight?
I don't know. Who do they have going? Who do they have pitching?
They got Quintana throwing against Suarez, so lefty against lefty.
Suarez has been pretty lights out, though.
Has he?
Yeah. Quintana pitched well his last time out, too, though.
I feel like Quintana's been in the league for a very long time.
He has.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he has. He's been in the league a minute.
How is that? Is that just crazy to you that you can be in the league that long and then find yourself starting in Game 4 of the NLDS?
Yeah. No, it's crazy. These guys that stick around and are on iffy teams for a while, and then just all of a sudden get blessed and get traded to a perennial all-star or a perennial playoff team, and then are starting in the playoffs. It's kind of crazy.
All right. So I got to just go down the list, button this deal up. I want an ideal game prediction, quick little pick of each game this evening on the MLB playoffs. We got the Phillies and the Mets. You go first. Go.
I'll take the Phillies tonight.
You like the Phillies. What do you think the game script's going to be like?
I think it'll be a low scoring game just because both of the pitchers, especially on the Phillies side, are pretty lights out. I think Quintana will be right now. I don't think he could be throughout the whole season, but in a short spurt, he can be.
Okay.
And I think it'll be a low scoring affair, but I think the Phillies will eventually get the best of someone on the Mets.
I like that too. I like that. I think the Mets get into their bullpen pretty early. Like, you're
Yeah.
asking, you're banking on some of the best hitters in the world, with someone who's been in the league for a long time to not be laser focused. And I mean, I could see Quintana going 3 innings, maybe.
I see 4 or 5. I don't see that short of a leash on him, but
Really, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I guess he's been doing well, obviously, for those guys, and but I think if there's one pick that I would be willing and able to bet on, it would be Schwarber for a home run. I think Schwarber takes Quintana deep early.
You think a lefty homer?
Schwarber against lefties is unreal.
Which is crazy because so many lefties cannot hit lefties.
No, I know, and that's the unique statistic about it. Like Schwarber's stats against lefties is like I think it's one of the best in the league.
That's crazy.
Yeah, without strictly facts here.
Without actually looking it up. Yeah.
Yeah, strictly facts. Okay, we're after that day game, that 3:00 day game. We're gonna move on to the Yankees and the Royals. You got any predictions for me tonight? Looks like we got Schmidt facing Lugo, and yeah.
So again, here I think not necessarily. So obviously in the front end with like Garrett Cole and is Rodon pitching for the Yankees again, or is he out?
Schmidt is throwing righty on righty today.
I know that he's throwing tonight, but I'm saying in general.
Rodon threw last game, I thought.
Okay, so he's pitching. That's all that. I think at the front end of the Yankees is better, but I think the back end of the Royals pitching rotation is better than the Yankees.
Yes. Yeah, like relief guys?
No, like, so once you get past once you get past Cole and Rodon and Nestor, that 4 and 5 guy on the Royals is better than the 4 and 5 guy on the Yankees.
Very, very, very true. I mean, it wouldn't be. Yeah, I mean, Lugo's throwing tonight, righties. I don't know. I like the Soto. I like if the Yankees are going to do something, they need Soto tonight. That's for sure.
And I also like, and again, this is going to come out as Yankee or anti-Yankee bias. I like that the Royals play as more of a team.
Very true.
They're not. Yes, they have Bobby Witt, who's an otherworldly star, but they're not 100% dependent on him having a 4-for-4 game with 3 home runs.
Right.
They can win other ways. I feel like the Yankees, if Judge and Soto have an off game, they're going to lose.
Yeah, they're pretty one-dimensional. Like I said, I just didn't feel like this team was built for much longevity. The Royals, they're at home tonight. That place knows how to win world championships now, so it's like, shit, you got to kind of feel that energy too, and so I don't know, man. I think the Yankees are in a tough spot.
And there's something about
being one in the series.
I'm sorry, what was that you were cutting out there?
Sorry, I said the Yankees are in a tough spot, especially with Aaron Judge being 1 for 7 in the series.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
So
the other thing too,
all over the world holding their breath tonight, hoping that we can make good contact.
For sure. The other thing too is playoff atmosphere in Kansas City and St. Louis is unmatched. They have something in Missouri when it comes to baseball.
Yep. That's going to be a big game tonight. Should be a fun one. That's starting at 5:00. the late game Dodgers Padres tonight. The Dodgers, however, have really not announced a starter.
Huh.
So I don't know who's throwing, but I'll be taking on Cease. I think he's a righty.
Cease is a lefty.
Is he? I think he's a righty.
I could have sworn he was a lefty.
I don't know. I mean, the Dodgers got to come up with one tonight. Ohtani takes. Ohtani has got to do something tonight.
Does Ohtani take the mound?
Ohtani takes the mound tonight. For the greatest. Yeah, hasn't done any arm work all year, and then goes and throws 104. You know,
Just randomly takes the mound tonight. Yeah, that'd be crazy.
it just gets out there.
Yeah, no, I am hoping the Padres pull it out.
For sure, that would be electric to put those guys away at home tonight.
Yeah. Oh, this is the deciding game.
Well, I mean, yeah, Padres go up. They win the series if they win tonight.
Awesome. I can't find anywhere whether he's a lefty or a righty. I could have sworn he was a lefty. He might be a righty. I'm not sure.
I'm showing that he's a right-handed pitcher with a 13.5 ERA in the playoffs.
Who?
Cease here. Let me see.
He has a 13.5 ERA.
Yeah, well, playoffs. Yeah, Dylan Cease, right-handed, 6'2", 200 pounds, 28 years old. In the postseason currently, he's got no decision, 3 innings pitched, 5 strikeouts, 13.5 ERA. So, essentially, I think both of them are going with – I mean, tonight's going to be a slugfest.
I don't think so. I kind of wonder if something was going on with Cease. He's lights out.
I mean, let's look at his regular season. He was 14. Yeah, he was 14 and 11, 3.4 ERA, pitched 33 games, pitched 190 innings. Yeah.
That's pretty dang good.
Yeah, no, I guess you're right. The only thing I think of is, I mean, career in the postseason. He's only thrown 6 innings, but he's got a 12 ERA.
Well, but there again, you're talking about Quintana, being a veteran that is basically first time in the playoffs. I think this might be Cease's first time in the playoffs too.
I think it's his second time because he's only pitched 3 innings this year, and he's pitched a total cumulative of 6.
Okay, so maybe he pitched one time for the White Sox then too.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, right. Yeah, I guess when was that? Yeah, no, I agree. But I'm just saying, being as the Dodgers haven't announced a starter, just makes me feel like they're really heavily reliant on everyone tonight. And
yeah.
I don't know. Does that create a dynamic of versatility on the mound, different vision for the hitters, so therefore it's tougher to make contact and to make adjustments throughout the game, or these starters go in and just get absolutely obliterated in the first 3 innings?
I don't know. Has speaking of the Dodgers and them not announcing a starter, has Kershaw pitched at all?
I don't know. I don't believe so. Let me look here. He obviously didn't throw last night. Buehler threw last night. No, because Flaherty
pitched game 1.
Flaherty pitched game 1.
I could see maybe Kershaw pitching tonight.
I think so, huh?
Yeah.
Anyhow, should be a good tilt regardless. But yeah, MLB playoffs, they're amazing. They're here, and here we go, baby.
They are. Go Padres. Well, awesome. Let's get off the MLB, and I guess you can kind of take a pick of what we want to talk about next. Do we want to talk about the NFL, NCAA, or NHL?
Why don't you mention briefly what's going on right now in college football, and apparently the best week ever in college football this year, correct?
So it was supposed to be. It was billed that way preseason, but some are saying that happened last weekend.
I see.
Yeah, so last weekend you had, and I just want to preface this for everybody, number one, Alabama lost
To Vanderbilt.
to Vanderbilt.
So do you know much about how that went down and the game script and all that stuff? Because I did see a bunch of stuff on social media. Obviously, I just didn't dive into it at all because I just thought whatever. But do you know much about that?
I don't know much about the game itself. The only thing I do know is that at game day, because again, Saban is part of game day, he came out and said the day of the game, the easiest place to play in the SEC is Vanderbilt.
Damn.
And then Bama goes in and loses to Vanderbilt.
Was it a tight game?
It was fairly tight. It was 40-35.
35. Wow.
Yeah. So no, it was a fairly tight game. But then what I love about it is, of course, because Vanderbilt never beats Alabama because Alabama usually just steamrolls them.
Right.
The fans surfed the entire stadium. They took down the goalpost and took it out of the stadium and were like riding it down. I think it was Broadway Street in Nashville, all the way down to the river. It was just amazing.
Holy cow. That is amazing. That's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. I wish I had known more about that, but that's good to know.
Yeah, no, it was great. Yeah, it was fun to watch that and just see, because I mean, that win is probably not going to happen again.
Right.
At least not for a while, because it was just so crazy,
Absolutely.
to say the least.
Massive accomplishment for those guys. You said there's a great matchup this weekend I want to just briefly talk about.
Okay.
Ohio State.
Yes, Oregon and Ohio State. That is the marquee matchup this week.
Marquee. Let's go.
Yep. That game day is it's going to be in Eugene, which is absolutely beautiful this time of year. And game day is going to be in Oregon for Oregon, Ohio State. Oregon is number 3 in the country, and I believe Ohio State is 4.
Okay, should be an awesome little Saturday then. Is that an evening game, or you said that's a college game day game?
It's the college game day game, but I don't know what time the actual game itself is. Let me look that up really quick. Because just because it's game day there doesn't mean it's at 5:30.
5:30
on NBC.
Okay, yeah, so late game. So that'll be a watcher, assuming.
Oh yeah.
MLB playoffs don't take precedence.
I hate to be weird. I will be watching that over the MLB playoffs.
There you go. Go Ducks.
Well, actually, no, the Bobcat game is later, I think, so I can even watch that and then the Bobcat game.
There you go.
So, which the Bobcats have a heck of a game too this week. It's a crazy week for college football.
Absolutely. Should be a fun one. Talk briefly, how are the Cats doing here? I mean, obviously they play high school teams every week, so, they seem to do pretty well.
So the Cats are doing really well. They're 6-0. I think it's for the first time since 2011.
Oh, gosh, here we go.
They did play kind of a high school team last week in Idaho State. No offense to them. They're a great school, but they have lost, I think it's 18 games in a row now. So hopefully they'll be able to turn it around soon. But last week was not their week to start. But this week they have a very big game in Bozeman They play the University of Idaho, who I believe is like ninth in the country. And the Bobcats are third. So
it's in Bozeman.
it's in Bozeman. Yep.
That'd be a good one to catch, huh?
It'd be a good one to catch. They're going to be on ESPN2.
ESPN2. Okay.
Which is awesome because a lot of our games usually are not on the immediate ESPN family of networks. They're on ESPN Plus, which is awesome too, but it's going to be nationally televised, so it's going to be later at night because of that.
In Bozeman.
I think it's at like 8:00. Yeah, no, it's going to be a great game.
Sweet night game too, huh?
Night game under the lights. It's going to be a beautiful stadium.
Let's go.
Full of 22,000, probably actually 23 because they'll jam pack people in there.
Oh yeah, definitely. That'll be a good one.
Yeah,
a good one. On the football subject, I want to just a brief rundown here on the NFL. We've completed week 5 weeks into the season already, so preseason's finally over, right?
Yep.
It seems like that anyways. There's so many games in the NFL, so many variables, so many moving parts that can happen. What surprised you this year? Any team in particular surprised you?
The team that kind of surprises me is the Bears. And here's why. They're, I think, 3-2 right now. So they're not lighting the world on fire by any means. But they've had so many new parts this year. I mean, Caleb Williams and so many others. Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen. That's just on the offense. And they're in a tough division with the Packers, the Lions, and the Vikings. That's another surprise team is the Vikings, but I didn't want to touch that one because that's just crazy. But the fact that you're doing that well with a rookie quarterback is, I think, really awesome. Another one is the Commanders, again with a rookie quarterback doing really well. The Vikings. There's quite a few surprise teams this year. I will say that.
Okay.
On the other token, you have the Niners that can't seem to win a game without CMC. So,
I mean, fair enough. No, I think two obvious ones. I think for me are definitely the Vikings and probably the Washington Commanders. Obviously nobody saw the Commanders being. I think they're 4-1, are they not?
Yeah, no, they're really good. Jaden Daniels is insane.
Yeah, so nobody saw that coming. So that's a big shock. That's been fun to kind of see develop because good for those guys. You know what I mean? Good for that area and everything, and good for the game and all that stuff. And in regards to the Bears, here's my only thing on the Bears thus far is like they just really, to me, haven't played anybody in the caliber of. I know that they're playing obviously in the NFL, but I just don't feel like they've played anybody super stout either.
Well, not to be fair. I mean, they haven't played like the Vikings yet. They haven't played the Lions yet, I don't believe.
Yeah.
So that's a fair assessment. But anytime a rookie quarterback can come into a dysfunctional franchise, because I'm sorry, unless you're like the Colts when they drafted Andrew Luck and were only the first overall pick because Peyton Manning broke his neck, you're number one for a reason.
For sure. Well, and here's the thing. He really got a bad rap the first part of the first 3-4 games. Actually, up until his last performance. Like, his last performance was by far his best, most consistent, most composed. Looked like he knew he was good, so
yeah.
Which is good. The upside for Chicago is awesome. Like I said, what an awesome franchise to watch succeed too. In like a historical franchise that would be fun to see develop, but in regards to just the depth, like there's really only about 4 teams that are that are competitive
Yeah.
enough to win a world title at this point.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously you have the Chiefs that have 12 players on the field every time they step on the field.
Yep.
You have, I don't. Besides the Chiefs, honestly, maybe the Ravens can figure it out.
I think Baltimore for sure.
Yeah.
Your
In
two
the
are-
NFC, the Lions, I think maybe could. That's about it. I don't think the Eagles are as good this year. I don't think the Cowboys are going to do it ever.
I hope the Eagles figure something out here. I really do. I mean, they look miserable. Like, I mean, but they went into a bye week here, so maybe they made some minor adjustments. And like I said, it's still so early.
It is.
There's a lot of things that can happen. Shit, you can go 0-5 and win out and still make the playoffs. Obviously,
Yeah, you really don't need to panic until you lose 6 games. Then you're like, okay, we need to hit the reset button.
So, I believe the Cowboys won the Steelers game, correct?
I think at about 1 a.m. they did, yeah.
Yeah, because that was a shock for me because I really think that Steelers team is pretty damn good.
So here's the problem that I've seen with the Steelers is 2 things. One, and this happens every time you have an indecisive quarterback room. You don't know who the starting quarterback is because, yes, they've trotted Justin Fields out there the last 5 games, but now that Russell Wilson's healthy, he's breathing down his neck.
Listen to me. Russell Wilson isn't breathing down no one's neck. Russell Wilson is done playing football, bro.
I don't think so. I think if Justin
Murray should go throw dodgeballs to each other because that's what it looks every time they throw the rock. And I shouldn't say anything. I'm not defending Justin Fields because he's not anything better, but I'm telling you, like these guys are like Russell's done. Russell's done.
I am not saying that Russell should be playing, but I am saying if Justin Fields has another bad game, Russell Wilson will be on the field.
Yeah, I think you'd be doing a huge disservice to the franchise and to their success as well. I mean, it's not like he's not been putting them in competitive spots, and realistically, their running back has been a little bit banged up. So they've relied a little bit on an uncertain backfield.
Yeah.
Also, like they don't really have anybody to throw to. Like, I'm sorry, but George Pickens is their number 1 receiver, and like for me, probably just because he can't get a pass halfway decent. I feel like Fields just. I don't know though. I mean, like he's just not going to be the precision passer right now, and maybe he develops that. But I'm just saying, like Pickens doesn't look great, and who's he really going to throw to? So they're going to have to rely heavily. It's good they have Russell because Fields is going to run the ball a shit ton.
Yeah, well, and that's where hate Russ or love him, he is an accurate passer.
Well, yeah. I mean, I just don't. I think the speed of the game, based off what I see in regards to the eye test and those things, I feel like the speed of the game has changed, and he's done.
I kind of wonder though, like, and I am not discrediting that Russell Wilson's obviously slowed down. He's 32, 34 years old.
Right.
But I wonder a little bit because when the Broncos drafted Bo Nix, they made a conscious effort to go out and get linemen to protect him.
Sure.
I wonder if there was not a good O-line in Denver for Russ Wilson.
Well, I mean, obviously Denver's not like a consistent threat, so I mean, they're middle of the pack, and I still feel that way about them, even with Bo Nix in there. I mean, they're going to be pretty successful. They're going to be more successful than they have been in years prior. I think that the last 5 weeks have proven that. I do. I just don't think, who's to say? I mean, their defense has been really good.
Yeah.
Great defense. But
I'm just saying with Russell Wilson and with the Steelers being kind of known for having good O-lines for as long as I can remember, that might not be a bad situation for him to play, show that he's not completely washed up. Now, I'm not saying he's Seahawks Russell Wilson by any means, but he's also not hot garbage.
Yeah. Well, this will be a nice test. I mean, I think what if Fields has Vegas to this weekend in Vegas.
Oh, he's probably gonna beat the crap out of him. So,
well, that's what I'm trying to say. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know though. God, I don't know.
we made Bo Nix look like Joe Montana last week. So
very true.
I was watching that game because, of course, that's the one game that Montana carries every year is Raider Bronco.
Always.
And I had to turn it off in the third quarter. I was like, I cannot watch this anymore. It was so sad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Now Devontae, he's gone.
Yep. He's gone.
He's going to get traded to.
So here's a funny thing. You bring up George Pickens. He's not extremely happy in Pittsburgh. So I've heard quiet rumblings, and this is super quiet because Devontae wants to go to either New York or New Orleans. But I could maybe see a swap for Devontae and George Pickens.
Oh, how sick would it be to have Devontae in New Orleans, though?
Yeah.
That would be pretty dope. I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
He wants to be either back with Rodgers or back with Derek Carr.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I think he's going to go to the Chiefs.
I don't think the league would allow that, if I'm being honest.
Really?
Not
a money thing. Probably ignorant comment.
No, I think it would be. Do you remember when Chris Paul in the NBA was going to be traded to the Lakers, and the commissioner stepped in and said, "No, that's too overpowered. We don't want that."
No, I don't recall.
So, like when he went to the Clippers in 2010, I think it was 2010. He was originally going to be traded to the Lakers.
God, if he was smart, he would go back to Green Bay.
Right, but the commissioner told the, I think it was the Hornets, you cannot trade him to the Lakers with Kobe because that would be too overpowered, and it would be they would just run the league.
Now look at all the teams.
Well, yes, the NBA has obviously changed, but like I could see that being the thing. Like, look, we already get that we tip the scales in favor of the Chiefs.
Oh yeah.
Let's not add fuel to the fire by having still at least a top 15 wide receiver, and I think top 15's being too mean.
Work and the deal works, like haters gonna hate, man. Shit,
he's not going, and I'm sorry, the Raiders would not trade him to the Chiefs.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's gonna go to a place where they're relevant. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I could see him even like San Francisco, like 49er even.
We're not going to trade him to the Raiders either. No. There's 3 teams automatically off the table because he's on the Raiders. The Chiefs, the Broncos, and the Niners. Not going to any of those 3.
I figured. I didn't feel out what you'd say.
We will not trade anybody to those teams.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Quick little full slate here of games. The Knights have their home opener. Little NHL slate of games. Awesome games. Great matchups. It's NHL season's underway. Utah and Chicago played last night.
Utah had their first game.
Yep, first game ever. So, and they ended up getting a W, I believe 5-2, I want to say, or something like that. I didn't see the score offhand, but should be a fun season. Good for those guys, and good for the game of hockey in Salt Lake. So, but in regards to previews, you have your top dogs. I don't know too much about this year and what we got going on here. So we'll have to see how these next couple games develop, and these guys will ramp up tonight. Obviously, the Knights are taking on the Avalanche, which should be a competitive matchup for sure.
It's a good West Coast matchup there.
Yep.
It's kind of nice seeing more hockey in this area of the West. There's always been the California teams like LA and San Jose, or not San Jose, excuse me, Anaheim and San Jose Sharks, yes. But it's nice to see, Seattle, obviously Utah now, and Colorado,
for sure,
kind of have more of that Northwest feel.
Absolutely. It's coming there. It's all over. Quick little shout out here, just to know a little bit more about this, Mitch. What do you know about this hurricane situation? Obviously, it's been a travesty thus far in Florida. I mean, this new one behind it is supposed to be just as bad, if not worse. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, so prayers go out to everybody in the Southeast, because it's not even just affecting Florida; it's affecting all the way up to like Tennessee. So Hurricane Helene went through there a week or two ago. That was a Category 4, and that's the one that went up all the way into like Tennessee and North Carolina.
Yeah.
And there was a bunch of flooding even up in there. So prayers to people in that area that are currently recovering from Hurricane Helene. And then Hurricane Milton, I think, is going to be rolling through Florida tomorrow or within the next few days. And that's Category 5. So that's the worst you can get. The winds are going to be like 160 miles an hour. The storm surge is like 15 feet. The mayor of Tampa has come out and said, if you stay, you will die.
Wow.
Like, get out.
Wow.
Because Tampa has never seen a storm like this. Even though it's right in the middle of Florida, there's never been one that's been this strong that's hit Tampa Bay.
Wow. So we're talking big buildings, big city, like, yeah.
Yeah. Disney World is shut down, which never happens.
Wow.
I mean, it's catastrophic and will probably change Florida for a while.
Wow. Well, shoot, that, obviously thoughts and prayers to those guys and everybody in Florida. And yeah, it's just a weird deal, man. A lot of weird, eerie stuff going on, but try to focus on the positive. Obviously, we got the leaves turning, orange, fall orange here. I don't know, just all that stuff is just a travesty. So,
one positive that I'm going to take from all of that is, a lot of times cities and communities will be like, well, why do we need this baseball field, or why do we need this football field, or whatever the sport is? Well, when you look at these hurricanes, so I followed the Tampa Bay Rays because I'm kind of a fan of theirs, because I've been down to Tampa, seen their stadium. Well, that stadium is now hurricane relief. They have cots and places for people to stay so that they won't maybe have their homes, but they'll have somewhere to be. And so when you're thinking about, hey, we don't need that in our town, well, maybe you do.
There you go.
And they open their doors, no questions asked, for things like this all the time.
So, which is why we need a professional baseball organization in the city of Billings.
We need a professional something. Bring us something. Football, baseball, basketball, I don't care. Something.
Something. Mitch, it's the top of the hour. It's 2:00. Time's a ticking. You got to go. I got to go. It's been an awesome show. Mitch, is there anything else that you'd like to talk about?
There is not. Let's just have a great week. And yeah, we will be back probably next week, maybe the week after.
Probably.
We'll plan it and we'll let you know. But anyways, we will be back next time and better than ever. Thanks for listening.
All right.